What is up, my nerd familia, and welcome back to another episode of Games y Mas, the podcast where we're talking about all things board games, video games, and a little bit of pop culture. I'm your host, Vic, and today we have another Let's Taco About It. We're joined here by Raul. Welcome back, my man, to the pod.
What's going on, everybody?
Raul has joined us on episodes of Green Player, and that's it. And a couple of vlogs. If you're checking out our vlogs, we've been on our vlogs. We went to SojijaCon and LFGCon. They were great cons. They were awesome. Go check out those vlogs. We have them up on our channel. If you are watching us on YouTube, you can check out those videos as well. But we're excited to do another Let's Taco About It. We have some tacos here. We have tacos from Los Desvelados.
Ooh.
Los Desvelados tacos. So I forgot what they're called in Glendale. So we're excited to try those. Raul's never had it. First time.
Yep, I'm excited.
And today's topic is board game jargon, board game terminology. I'm pretty sure you guys have had some board game friends that are, if you guys are new to the board game world, some of these more expert friends have thrown out these words like, Ameritrash or AP or, 4X or some of these worker placement words. And you're like, what is all this? Well, we're here to try to explain it to you guys. So very excited to do that while we eat tacos. So
let's do it.
That's
Sounds
the best
amazing
way.
To me.
So with all that being said, guys, pull up a chair, grab some dice y acompáñame a jugar. You ready for tacos, dude?
Yeah, dude. Let's do it. I'm hungry.
Okay, tacos Los Desvelados.
Los Desvelados. Okay,
Like Los Sad Boys.
Uh-huh.
Hey, shout out. Tacos Los Desvelados in Glendale. I think there's a couple spots you can find them too, but we'll find that out later. So we're gonna try some tacos here, get some stuff going here. But we're gonna be talking about board game jargon. Terminologies that people that are new to the gaming world or board gaming world, or that have never heard of board games. They don't know like Monopoly and stuff like that. They probably don't know, what a worker placement or area control is. We just say they're like, what are you talking about? So I'm very excited to talk more about that, explain it. We'll do our best. Again, we're not pros. 100% we're not pros. We just know some of the terminologies. I'm pretty sure some other channels out there that have been doing this for a while know more of the terminology. Right. So, we can probably guide you there. I would recommend checking those guys out. They have more in-depth videos. Here we'll kind of give you an overview, maybe make it more relatable to those that are, newer to the genre and stuff, and then have a good time and stuff like that. So before we get started, let's chow down on some tacos.
Let's do it.
We'll eat a taco first. You have a choice. They're all the same. So there's like two of this of the same, two of this of the same, two of this of the same. I forgot what I got. I got us carne asada. I got us they're famous like Los Tacos Taco Desvelado, which is like steak and shrimp and like some other stuff. So, and then there's less special sauce on there. So, and then these are like, I guess like your classic, like, I got al pastor and pollo.
Ooh.
So I'll let you choose. What do you want to do?
Let's start off. I'm pretty hungry, so let's see. What should we do?
It's up to you. And this is gonna be his first reaction. So
let's do the signature. Let's try the Desvelado taco.
Taco Desvelado. Here we go. So,
and I'm hungry, so I'm probably gonna be a little positively biased.
No,
but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, let's see. Honest review. Let's go honest review.
100%.
I love these tacos. I haven't had like their full-on menu. I've only had their Desvelado taco and like their burritos and stuff. I've never had like these other rest of the tacos. So one was like taco tijuano, and then the other one was like taco something whatever. But I'll let you go grab the first taco here.
All right, let's see what we got here.
See. All right, here we go. So Raul, bite into that taco and let us know what you got.
All right, let's give this a shot.
Yeah.
I'm excited. This looks amazing. Is this shrimp right here?
Yeah, that's the shrimp. And then it's steak, and I think it's just steak and shrimp.
Let's bite into this thing.
Let's go. Find out. What you got? What do you think? What we doing?
That's pretty good.
It's good? Gotta be honest, bro. Don't
bro.
be friendly. Don't be friendly out here. I know he's hungry, so you can say anything.
I wouldn't think that shrimp and steak would be that good together, especially because the shrimp looks like it's deep fried.
Yeah.
But it's a really good combo. The cheese in it's really nice. That sauce is good. I was worried because I didn't have any like salsa verde or roja.
We got like red ones up there.
It'd be a little like dry, but it's not that bad actually. It's really moist.
The sauce gives it a good texture to it. I mean, their carne asada is really good. As we dig into this first taco, let's talk about board game terminology. And we have a list. I kind of looked up a list of like a bunch of board game terminology, and I picked and chose of like names that people might not understand what it means. There's a bunch of more, but I was like, it's kind of self-explanatory what it means. I think the main one, the big one that it boils down to is we have Euro games and Ameritrash games.
Yeah,
those are the big main things, and you have umbrella names under that as well.
Yeah.
Those are the two main, battles that you have within the board game community of who likes what better.
Yeah.
Team Ameritrash. This guy over here.
Euros.
He loves Euros.
100%.
And I guess you guys are listening. You're like, okay, you've thrown out those words. What do they mean? What is it? Okay, Ameritrash are games that are pretty much like your basic thematic. Like I said, we have a couple of examples here. I don't know if you can probably see it from Raul over here. Marvel's Homicides, perfect Ameritrash game. It's very thematic, very just straightforward, cutthroat. On your turn, you do this A, B, and then C, and then that's it. And then you move on. And then you go on to the next person, and you guys have a goal. You guys work together. In Marvel Zombies, you work together. But a lot of Ameritrash games are very just, just do this, and then that's it. You don't have to, like, on your turn, you should think about doing this, because then you can combine chain attack to do this and this and that. And there's no, like, combos you can do that are crazy. Like in Euro, you can do some crazy combos. Some Ameritrash games have some crazy combo games. But I think with Ameritrash is more just very thematic, very theming, get into the storyline of the lore, and just go straight at and just play the game. Have fun. For me personally, I love Ameritrash games. You want to explain what Euros are? If you want to go ahead, on your side, because your team Euro over there.
Yeah, sure. So Euro games, from I guess my understanding of it usually is, I believe they originated in Germany. Mm-hmm. They started coming out of that area, and they tend to be more brain burny. It's less luck based, and consequently, they have a reputation for being less thematic. Some games have a reputation of not being as like you play the game and you're playing the role of, like, let's say, a space explorer. Mm-hmm. And by the time you're done with the game, you're like, I didn't feel like a space explorer. Like, I there's a bunch of cool mechanics and there's a bunch of cool comboing off of different things, but the theme can kind of get lost. There are plenty, in my opinion, of Euro games that have lots of theme in them, but it's hard to keep that in there because one thing that Ameritrash might have that is a benefit over Euro games is that Ameritrash can have a lot of luck-based mechanisms. Mm-hmm. Like with Marvel Zombies, a lot of it's going to be based on like a dice roll. I'm rolling dice to try to kill these zombies. Right. The focus of that game isn't so much in the gameplay, although the gameplay's fun in that game. Don't get me wrong; it's a fun. If it wasn't fun, people wouldn't be as crazy about it as they are. But it's less about like comboing off and brain burny strategy as it is, here's your intro story, which is a cool benefit to Euros. A lot of them are like almost like little mini Dungeons and Dragons campaigns. Okay. It's like you can have it like if for people who play D&D, you have the Dungeon Master. In these games, you don't have a Dungeon Master. You have a book with the story that you read that sets the preface for why are we doing this. Like in Marvel Zombies or Zombicide, the town's getting invaded by zombies. We have to get as many resources as we can and find the exit and get the hell out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's that cool theming to it, and it has that advantage. But there's a bit of luck. I might plan a bunch of things out, and I can't roll above a 4 for the life of me.
Yeah, and you're screwed,
and I lose. Whereas to oppose with Euros, for the most part, if you lose a lot of it, there is some luck in it, right? But for the most part, it feels like it wasn't up to luck. It was maybe I could have better handled these situations and had better turns.
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the perfect explanation of what a Euro is. I think what we should do throughout the course of this episode is kind of compare it to like maybe games that could be relatable that they might understand. For instance, like I think perfect Euro example of a game that you guys might have heard of is maybe Catan. Mm-hmm. Catan's a perfect Euro game of explanation. Catan, trading sheep for wood or stuff like that, or controlling areas, but you gotta like on your turn it's not simple as I'm gonna do this and that and that's it. It's like, okay, you have to think about it. You're limited to what you can do, but once you gather enough things or play enough moves or turns, it opens up another possibility to do other things as well. So those Euros. A Ameritrash game could be Clue, maybe. Life, the game of life. Big time, very thematic, very themed, story driven. With Clue, you're trying to figure out who murdered, the butler. Now you're trying to gather clues and figure out who was the person that did it. Stuff. So those are some examples. And as we go through the more terminology, we can explain more compared to like, it's like think of this game that you might have heard of and stuff of that nature. So that's kind of a breakdown of what Ameritrash and Euros are for those that have been curious about what that is. So maybe next time you go, you can ask your local board game shop, that you want to give you a list of your Ameritrash games because those are the better games. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Those are the better games than Euros.
Pick out them Euros, baby. They're fun.
Nah. Build up to the Euros. Build to Euros. But okay. So there we got that out of the way. How's the taco?
It was really good.
Okay.
I would have liked some salsa because the first bite was pretty moist and everything, but it is a little dry towards the end of it.
Okay.
Maybe some like nice, crisp, spicy salsa verde.
We have the red sauce.
No,
Okay.
I prefer a salsa verde
Nice.
over a red sauce personally.
Wow.
But
Let's move on to the next taco here. Because I don't want them to get cold.
Yeah.
All right. Your choice again. What do you want to choose? This one is I think the tacos Tijuano. Ooh. And those are like the regular street tacos.
let's do the Tijuacano.
Okay. So we got a taco Tijuano, desvelado taco, and then callejero taco.
Callejero.
I think these are the callejeros.
Okay.
These are the tacos Tijuanos.
Okay.
Tijuanero. Sorry, Tijuanero.
Tijuanero.
And pretty much it's chopped skirt steak cooked over charcoal, garnished with onion, cilantro, and slices of avocado in a corn tortilla.
Say less.
There we go. There
Let's
we go.
try that
So,
one.
taco Tijuanero. We're going to try the taco Tijuanero here. They didn't skimp out on that carne. That guacamole sauce is really good.
Avocado, really nicely, perfectly seasoned.
Yeah.
The skirt steak, same. Seasoned, like perfectly cooked. It's super tender. The onions add a good amount of crispness and flavor to it. This is good. I like this one more than the other one.
Really? Better than desvelado?
Yeah, I like it.
And they're like specialty taco.
Yeah, these are pretty good, dude.
Tijuanero is really good.
I like just a original taco, just
Okay.
a street taco. Give me some carne asada on top of like a tortilla with like the salsa, cilantro, cebolla, all
for
that,
sure.
dude. It's fire in my opinion.
I believe. I agree.
Is it cool if I sprinkle some of this
Yeah,
sauce
get
on it?
some of that salsa in
Let's,
there.
let's rate some of this.
Let me know
sauce.
how the salsa is. It's also good. We talked about Ameritrash and Euros. We have this list that we wrote up. We'll start off with 4X games. You might have a better idea of explaining what they are. But yeah, what's a 4X game?
Yeah,
If you hear
so-
someone say, "Oh, it's like a 4X game," go ahead.
Yeah, they're usually 4X stands for explore, expand, exterminate, and exploit. And not necessarily in that order, just those four terms. And those tend to be your big space opera games usually, or if you see a game with tons of pieces and everybody's got like their own faction with like big models that are on the tabletop moving around, it's probably a 4X game. They also tend to be big epic experiences. So like Twilight Imperium. These games aren't going to be done in like an hour usually. If you got like, especially if you got like a full 4 or 5 player crew, expect to be there for 4 or 5 hours. Like expect an hour per person, even at a 2-player count, right?
Yeah.
One of my favorite 4X games, I love that genre. Eclipse, Second Dawn for the Galaxy. Fire game. You've got so many things. You've got like area control. I'm sure we'll go over that later.
Yep.
It's complicated. Get ready for a big rules teach, and it's helpful if you have somebody at the table who knows the game really well.
Right.
Same thing with, I'm sure, Twilight Imperium. It's helpful. Like anybody can learn these games. They are a bit intimidating. Anybody can learn them. It's just a matter of like it's helpful if there's somebody there who is pretty familiar with the rules and can kind of be like a game master, if you will, to help guide the experience through. Andromeda's Edge. Dwellings of Eldervale.
Yeah,
I would
4X.
consider those 4X
That's pretty 4X.
because you're expanding, you're controlling areas,
Yep.
you're exterminating players.
Do you think 4X games fall under the category of Euros more mainly?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I would agree. I think they're more very Euro-esque games. I think a good example of a 4... maybe for those that are trying to like relate. Okay, so you said all these names. 4X could be easily for if you play video games. But Civolution. I guess we could go Civolution. I don't know.
Civilization.
Civilization. I'm saying Civolution. Civilization is what I meant to say. Civilization. Civolution is the one for the Xbox. I can think of that. Civilization, guys. Thinking of Civilization, think of that, those type of games. So yeah, those games where like you kind of managing your tribe, you're expanding your tribe, you're building. A lot of politics maybe involved, a lot of trading. It has a lot of all these elements, but it's not just one specific thing. It's like you're doing a lot of many things that are expanding. These games tend to be very heavy, like Raul was saying. Rules teach could be daunting. Yeah, not very beginner friendly, but they're very fun. They're very fun to play if you're getting into more of the board game lifestyle and you want to expand your library and like dive more deeper to the games of board gaming. 4X games are really fun to get into as well. Not very many relatable 4X games that we can talk about, like that are in the common genre, like Risk is not a 4X game for sure. So those are the heavier like games that like where you really want to dive into. But if you hear someone saying that this is a 4X game, then you probably understand. Okay, it's a big game, very very time heavy game. So there's that for you guys. 4X game. We'll move on with the next one. Here is abstract games are like chess and tactile, Zool, games that are very strange to play. I think the main one that's common is, again, chess or checkers, or Chinese checkers, or Go. Those type of games are games that, very strange, not your typical conventional games that you play. So there's the abstract there. So we can move on from that one again. Next one is AP, analysis paralysis.
Yep.
For those people, that you might have heard all the... we struggle with AP when we're playing games. And as paralysis is those guys that take forever on their turn. You know who you are. Nothing wrong with having AP, but my guy, like let's move the turn along. Let's move the order along here. Yeah, analysis paralysis, where on your turn you're just trying to think of the best move possible that you can do, working out scenarios, working out things. And you're just kind of struggling for, and people are looking at you, waiting for you. People start pulling out their phones, start scrolling on there, and maybe they'll ask the courtesy question of whose turn is it again?
Yeah.
And just to kind of remind you of like, hey, whose turn is it again? Oh, it's so your turn. Okay, cool. Continue. Just kind of remind you of like, that's like the polite way of saying, hey, hurry up. In the board game world, hey, hurry up. Instead of saying hurry up, unless you got unless you're with the sad boys, then we're just yelling at each other.
Hurry up, dude.
Yeah, hurry up, fool. You're taking forever, man. And so whose turn is it? Is the easy, the nice way of saying to hurry up. But analysis paralysis, I mean, I don't know if you want to add on to it or...
No, you pretty much got it.
Yeah, it's pretty much, just you're maybe you had your move planned out already, but then somebody did something to kind of mess you up, so now you're stuck and now you're thinking, and you don't have enough time to think over your move because now it's your turn. So now you're stuck and you're paralyzed. You're analyzing, trying to figure out what you can do. So when people say, AP... analysis paralysis, for those that are interested there. Moving on, area control. Oh, I love area control.
Yeah, area control is a fun.
I love area control.
One.
So area control is a game where it's in the name in itself. You're trying to control the most areas. These board games mostly are whoever controls the most areas wins, or whoever has the most areas, or you want to have the most areas because that allows you to get to the winning condition.
Yeah.
A game that's very, you guys might be relatable, that understand what area control is Risk.
Yep,
Risk is a big area control game. So if you're wondering like what constitutes as an area control, think of Risk. Moving your armies, controlling these areas, battling it out, duking it out. I think area control games are very Ameritrash. Very Ameritrash games, I think, personally. Yeah. Unless you have a Euro that you think it's a Ameritrash, that's very area control.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I think like Scythe. Scythe, but Scythe is more of a 4X for sure. It does have area control elements in it.
Yeah.
Area control is a really cool, popular mechanism. It tends to be very conflict heavy because everybody's vying for those optimal spaces.
You're battling, duking it out.
Yeah, there's a lot of... So I know people who are really big into board games, and they don't like conflict heavy games.
Right.
So, if you're looking for just a casual time at the table, maybe don't jump into that right away.
Yeah.
It's fun, but yeah, it can definitely I played a couple of games of Scythe where people just didn't talk to each other for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, geez, they got mad.
Yeah, they got pretty heated. But they're fun, right? Like, that's part of the aspect of it. I'm trying to think, like, is Blood Rage or Ankh, are those Euros? Because I know those are area control games. I don't think...
I think they're Ameritrash.
You think those are Ameritrash?
I think Blood Rage is for sure, because it's very thematic. You're Viking, you're taking over lands. It's not super into the theming, but
like the reason why I think it might be Euro too is because it's not as luck based.
That is true.
There's no like real big dice rolls that it's going to be swingy. It's more like I'm going to move my things around. You're going to react in response, but I have these cards.
Yeah.
And I might fake you out. I might play a false card.
Yeah.
And I might lose the fight, but I kind of want to for whatever circumstances are going on. So but
I don't think it's very like engineerical-esque of a game either. It's more very just plain simple. Play a card. Do this. Use your glory. Take over lands. Anyone else want to fight? Duke it out. Okay, let's duke it out. And then I mean, it's a board. I think it's a borderline Ameritrash game. Euros is. I mean, yeah. It's not like luck based with like dice rolling. But there's a lot of Ameritrash games that are not very dice rolly. I think, honestly, personally, like my hot take is, I think area control games are great beginner games to get into into the board game. Because it's not very heavy on the rules, and it's simple enough to like understand what you get. But it's not like super dumbed down where it's like, all right, just roll a dice and do this. You know, it's like you still have to think. But yeah, great examples are Risk that you can think of for those that are haven't expanded deeply into the game.
Catan, you're building pathways and you're controlling those little corners of those buildings. So ideally, when somebody rolls a dice and you have a building and once you
is it an area control game?
I guess it's not area control
because that's not how you win the game though. Like that's not like because controlling the most areas, it does help you out in the long run to manipulate the dice, but that's like I think the game where it shines the most is you're building and taking.
You're building those roads,
building
those networks.
networks, building your villages and towns.
Maybe it has some like area control-ish elements.
Yeah, it has some area control-ish.
Yeah.
Because I think area control is like the way you win an area is by bringing in your armies and destroying the other armies. I think like that. It could be considered a small, maybe area control-esque type of game.
Yeah.
But yeah, area control. Games like Risk. Risk, Blood Rage. What else I had that's area control that I can think of that it's on my list of games? Small World, another great area control grade. Lords of Ragnarok, yes, another one, great one. Game of Thrones, the board game.
Yeah, Game of Thrones, a board game.
Big area control game.
And that is for sure a
Ameritrash.
Yeah,
it's a big Ameritrash game.
It's like,
and that one doesn't use dice. That one you're using cards to like play out the game. So that one,
I think they're interesting. They have some Euro-esque
a little bit
mechanics.
Yeah.
They're a unique thing. That's why I agree with you. I think area control games are very good, like gateway games.
Yeah, yes.
It's a good game that's like pretty straightforward. They can have some complicated-esque mechanics, and they can start introducing you to like some deck building, some action selection mechanisms with those cards, and then amassing your armies and moving them through.
No, I agree. I 100% agree with that. Yeah, Area Control, guys, is a great game for any of you listening or watching. Is a great game, great gateway games to get into the board gaming world. Area Control. We'll do two more, and then we'll dive into the last set of tacos here.
Sounds good.
We still got a long list to go, so like I'm trying to savor the tacos here.
Sounds good, man.
But let's go. All right, so we have next one is the catch up mechanic. Not like ketchup, like ketchup and mustard. The catch up. I speak too fast, and people think like ketchup, like you're putting
Food Chain Magnate.
The
ketchup expansion. It's pretty fun board game. We gotta play that one.
Oh, maybe we should definitely. We gotta try that one. The catch up mechanic. It's in the name in itself. It's like a mechanic that maybe this term you might hear when maybe someone's explaining to you like the rules of the game or something, and they'll be like, so this is a cool catch-up mechanic that you can do with. It's pretty much just a way for the board game to kind of give anyone that's like in last place or second to last place an ability, like a chance to catch up to the first place and try to win the game.
Right.
I don't know if there's any good like modern or like popular games that have that mechanic. Monopoly doesn't really have that.
I'm trying to think of some too. I mean, like I know like some big games with some like pretty decent catch-up mechanics might be like I think what is it? There was a game we were playing recently where if you're last player, you get to go first. Menefer,
yes.
Complex Euro game. Yeah. It's a complex one, but the game, the play order usually is whoever's in last place gets to go first. Whoever's in first place gets to go last.
Yep.
And it's to kind of help give you that advantage. A game like Ankh,
which
has a unique catch-up mechanism where the two players in last place, that once there's a specific threshold, I believe it's point-wise or turn-wise, I forget what it is, but basically at a specific point of the game, the last two players, points-wise, their deities, the gods they're playing, fuse and become one super powerful deity.
Oh, Sam. Okay.
and then it becomes like a cooperative game. Those two work together to try to get their thing to catch up and pass everybody else up,
nice.
and they get pretty like strong powers.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's a love-hate relationship with that game in specific,
sure.
that mechanism.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty unique mechanism. Like, hey, you're behind, because it can feel kind of bad when you're playing a game
definitely.
and you're just like, well, I guess I'm out of the game.
Yeah.
I can't do anything.
Yeah, it's a great way to keep people involved in the game. Because, like, if you're like dead last, then you're just like, well, I don't want to play no more. Like, whatever, I'll just do whatever. So this keeps you involved to, like, be like, give you that sense of, like, give you that hope to be like, hey, you can still win this game. Here's this little mechanic that we introduced so you can kind of catch up. Cubitos has a good catch-up mechanic. I can't tell you for the life of me what it is, but I remember there was one. And I don't know, I have a couple of games with more catch-up mechanics, but no need to dive deeper into that one. That's kind of, a mechanic in the game that allows you to catch up and, give you a chance to win the game. If someone's, dead last, here's this mechanic so you can catch up. Get yourself more involved. I love games with catch-up mechanics because... it allows you to get more involved. Guys, we all know that if you're like in dead last, if you're like me, I tend to almost give up. Almost, I mean, I'm very competitive, so I want to go down swinging. But some of you guys that are like, dead last, you're losing. You're just gonna make moves that don't matter, or don't make sense to people, and you're like, why? It's like, well, who cares? I'm losing. So this gives you more involved, and I think those are great games. So any designers out there, create some good catch-up mechanics so we can keep you involved in the game. Next one we got here is a deck building game. Pretty, again, almost self-explanatory. Deck building games are games where you maybe start off with like a limited size deck, maybe usually maybe cards of 10. And then throughout, as the game progresses, you're buying cards, you're building your deck to become stronger, to be able to do more combos, more things you can you can accomplish here, rack up the most points. I don't know what's a good modern deck building game that's.
I'm trying to think of one, and it's hard to think of one because that's usually a mechanism from my experience that's in like more like advanced-ish board games.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite mechanics. I have a ton of deck builders.
Yeah.
Just because there's it's like you all start off with the same cards basically, right?
Yeah.
There's a common starting deck of 10 cards, like you said.
Yeah.
And there's a pool of cards that you can buy, and you're working and you're spending resources from these cards usually to buy those, and you're building up your deck, and you're trying to like kind of build it towards a specific strategy.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorites. I don't think it's a what's it called? It's a very popular one. It's one of my favorites. What's it called? It's a Dungeons and Dragons themed one. You're playing as Tyrants of the Underdark.
Oh, okay.
Oh, dude, that game is fire. We got to play it one day.
Is that the one with the big box? That comes like the...
No, it's a pretty small size box.
Okay.
You have a big map that has area control where you're moving your little pieces around.
Okay.
And you're building up your deck. You're buying like a fire cyclops card that you add to your deck. You're buying some arachnids that you add to your deck. You're buying some dark elves to add to your deck.
Okay.
And then you cater your cards towards some mechanisms,
right?
And then like I might build a big deck that revolves around summoning these big giant monsters, and I just try to brute force through everything. And you might build your deck in a specific way that focuses around like subtle little traps and magic, so my own guys take damage. They tend to be a really well done deck builder is like super fun, super satisfying.
Oh, for sure, no, I agree. I think they're more of the complexity of games. I mean, like I'm trying to always think, because like I'm trying to make it more relatable to the people that understand, but it's kind of hard without like throwing out like bigger name games that people are like, oh, I've never heard of that game. It's like, but if we can bring it down to you guys is, it's a game where like you start with like maybe a starting hand, and then as the game goes, you have actions that you'll choose to like buy cards to build your deck. Clank is another good deck builder game where you're trying to build more cards here. And so, it's just you're trying to build more cards. You're trying to get more cards to make your deck bigger, so you can be able to do more things and accomplish bigger, crazy combos. And so so when people say, "Oh, this is a deck builder game," think of you start off small with something, and then throughout the game you get a bigger deck, and then you're collecting, you're building, combos with that. I think deck builders are good Euros and Ameritrash games. They can bounce around, so they can go on both ends with that nature. Before we get into the next one, let's get the second pair of tacos here.
Do it. Street tacos.
We're doing the tacos callejeros. Callejeros. Here we go. Ow. So I got al pastor and pollo. on here. So that's chicken for everyone that's listening. Bro, you know what? Okay, real quick, side tangent here. Shout out to the homies out there on Co-op Chronicles. I was watching Black Label's stream, and I was mentioning to him about Del Taco, but there's no Del Taco in Washington.
Really?
No, because when I commented on there, they're like,
What's
Del Taco, bro? That makes no sense. I was like, you guys know I have no. So if anyone doesn't know what Del Taco is, bro, like I mean, it's think of like Taco Bell, like its rival. Like, it's Del Taco. But maybe a California thing. I don't know, dude.
I don't know, honestly. Like, I've never been a big fan of Del Taco.
Yeah.
I'm more of a Taco Bell guy if I'm going to get that stuff.
I love Del Taco.
Yeah, you love Del Taco?
But I like Taco Bell because they had like the bigger like box deals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Del Taco, you guys brought the new boxes. They have new boxes now that you can get. Same thing. They're trying to compete with Taco Bell, but yeah, we're not sponsored. That's a whole Taco Bell. But yeah, sorry, I was thinking because like we're talking about tacos.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was remember like I mentioned that to Label. Shout out to you, Black Label. But I can't believe you don't know what Del Taco is. But no one knows. I mean, the East Coast doesn't know what In and Out is. So
That's true.
So there we go. So there's that. Anyway, back to the topic at hand here. Tacos callejeros. Al pastor, pollo. Which one you want to go with?
Let's grab some al pastor.
pastor.
Ooh, I want to bite the meat.
Go ahead.
Try it.
Give the meat a try. What do you think?
Not as juicy or heavy on the spicing
Okay.
as I'm used to.
Okay.
But I want to try it out with
Oh, la cebolla.
the fixing, dude. Cebollita y cilantro.
Cilantro. Yeah, get that on there, bro. I've never had al pastor from here as well. So it's my first time as well. And I don't know. Like, I'm very iffy. Like, al pastor is very hard to get down sometimes. Because I like the ones where like it's from like El Trompo, where you just like cut it like that.
Yeah, and they cut the pineapple
Yeah,
at the top.
on top of it,
yeah.
it's like nice and fresh slithers. It's hard to like get al pastor like just like already like freshly made or already cut and stuff.
Yeah.
Because then it becomes all shriveled up and like I don't like it as much. But all right, dive into it. See what you got. Honest review, my boy. Don't be biased.
Not my favorite.
Okay.
It's not bad. Too salty. Un poco muy salado.
Yes. Yes. I'm getting that too as well.
Yeah, it's a little too salty. Like it's not bad,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't order it again.
I need that piña in there.
Yeah,
I need the piña in there.
Poco muy salado.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's not that bad.
It's not that bad. Definitely not. I probably would not be my go-to choice of taco if we're going there. I'm definitely choosing tacos tijuaneros first because that won me over. Low-key, like as I kept eating that, that won me over more. Dang, this sauce is getting a little spicy though. But I'm digging it. My like side of my mouth is starting to like, me está picando.
That's enchilando.
Yeah. Oh, geez. But you know what? Just because I said that, I'm going to add more. Let's add some more. Yeah, it's not my top choice. Maybe if... Honestly, I would probably not ever order this one again. So we stopped off at deck building game. We have drafting. That's the next symbol. Drafting.
Love drafting.
Drafting is... we're not talking about fantasy football or, the army drafting. You want to explain what drafting is?
Yeah.
Go give it a track while I finish this taco up.
So in drafting games, essentially, you're going to start off with a specific number of something, right? Let's say cards, because it's really common. Card drafting is really common.
Yeah.
For those of you who like Magic the Gathering, you go to your local game night and you're doing like a drafting night. Similar thing. You're starting off with 10, let's say 10s of something. You pick one, then you take the other 10s, and you pass them to the player to your left or your right, and then you get a new hand of cards, and it's going to have 9 cards in it because they all kept one, and you're going to pick one from that. And you're going to keep taking turns doing that to have like the best hand of 10 cards, and then you start with that. Some board games like heavier Euros, you start off with some drafting mechanisms in it, and you kind of keep it. I'm thinking like Terraforming Mars has a cool drafting mechanism where you're drafting cards to pick to buy.
Yep.
And then after you do that, that sets you up for your next couple turns, what you're going to be doing.
Yep.
Some games, the spotlight is the drafting, right? I'm thinking of this game called Wrong Party. It's a really fun game where you have different characters. They have cutesy little animal characters. where you might like one of them is like it says wrong party. It's funny. The box one side is like a birthday party, and there's a barbarian breaking through the wall with an axe, and he's like and at the bottom there's like a little horse with the party hat, and he's like in the middle of a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. So it's
nice.
they're in the wrong party.
Yeah, wrong party, bro. Yeah.
So the whole game, the highlight of that game is you're deck drafting.
Right.
You're drafting your cards.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get as many good combos as far as colors. Pair up people who are like, you have a ranger, and then you got a clown from like a birthday party.
Yeah.
And you're trying to like pair up the cards and find common suits, common colors, common theming.
Okay.
And then you play out all your cards at once, and you get points for that.
Yeah.
It's a really fun mechanism.
Oh yeah, I think drafting is a very fun one. I think no modern games, or I keep saying modern games, no basic games, beginner games come to mind that have that drafting mechanism. I think maybe closest that maybe some of you guys might have heard is like Sushi Party Go.
Yep.
Has the beginning is a card drafting mechanism. A lot of card games are based off of have some sort of drafting mechanism. But yeah, it's like in essence, you start off with a set of cards. Choose one of those cards. You either pass it to your player to your left or to your right. You get their hand. You choose their card, and you keep going using the circle or motion until everyone has chosen the last cards. Nemesis has a drafting mechanism that you can try out whenever you're choosing your roles for your player. They instead of being like random, you guys can do a draft method. You guys can do that. And so, yeah, drafting is kind of like that. It's just kind of building off, maybe almost like deck building, small deck building based off whatever hand is given to you, and you're building off your hand. Best combos are there. And so that's a little bit of what drafting is. So whenever you hear that, that's maybe a mechanism that is involved in the board gaming that you can kind of get ready for that as well. The next one we have is Engine Builder. Engine building games.
Another one I love.
Those are very Euro heavy games. Engine building is, how do we explain engine building?
It's like what the name it kind of entails, right?
Yeah.
Like usually you're going to start off the game pretty weak, maybe with a couple of actions you can take. But throughout the game, you're going to be gathering resources, like let's say you have a farming game, right? And then at the beginning, you got to go out there manually and you got to till the field. So you're going to take actions to go out and do stuff like that. And then eventually, you gather enough money to buy a new engine, a new mechanic, a tractor or something like that allows you to move more. And while you're moving, you're plowing the field. So you've added a new thing to your thing. Okay. I'm kind of thinking like a cool farming game that's like that is Caverna. Really awesome game where you're building up your farm and you're getting cattle, you're planting seeds to get different kinds of like wheat and vegetables. You're also expanding in your cave, you're building rooms. And these rooms are going to give you bonuses that are going to be like when you go gather wood, you might get extra wood. Or when you build an extra room because you've built a wood shop, it's cheaper now to do things. Or another cool engine building game. They can kind of go hand in hand with like tableau builders.
Okay. We'll get into that as well.
Another unique mechanism. But it's essentially like you're buying things and you're building up passive actions or abilities that you can take that allow you to combo up better.
Oh, okay. Do you think Catan is an engine building? I think Catan's like mini engine building. Start off weak and you keep expanding to build up more to be able to. And when we say engine building, we're not thinking like a legit like you have an engine like a car engine or something. It's like your engine, like your the process of like your turn, how strong it does through the processes of your turn, how strong you can get. Like an example would be like, you have a game where you have a colony. On your turn, all your colony does is just produce you maybe a wood or something like that. Yeah. And then wood you can use to like trade in for maybe, clay or whatever. Yeah. Okay, if you have clay, now you can build maybe a second hut on your colony. Now you have two huts. Now because you have two huts, they produce two extra wood. Now, now I can upgrade my hut into like a house. Now my house produces clay. So now you're upgrading your engine to make it stronger and better on your turn. And then call it your engine because you're running it through the cycle and you're trying to get it stronger and bigger like games like Scythe. I don't know if Monopoly is considered an engine builder game because you're trying. I consider that more of an area control game.
Monopoly. I always think of it as Ameritrash.
Well, it's Ameritrash, but
Yeah.
like, what would be considered like the umbrella underneath Ameritrash? I think it's either area control because you're trying to control the most areas.
Yeah, it has area control.
Yeah, control most areas, and then maybe a small faction of engine building because
It's like resources,
resource
like,
management. Yeah, like you're trying to. You start off with nothing. You have no properties. You go in there, you build. You have property now. Now people land on there. You collect money from it. You're building more money, so you can now increase to buy more properties that you land on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think Catan, Scythe is a good one.
Space Base. The game we play online.
Oh yeah. Space Base is a good one.
Terraforming Mars.
Terraforming Mars is a good engine builder.
Arc Nova.
Is Arc Nova engine? Oh yes, it is. Yes.
Because you build up those cards in front of you,
Yep.
and now you have like all these cool bonuses to things you're going to be doing.
And Arc Nova is a fun game where you're kind of building. Think of like Zoo Tycoon, but in a board game esque. Shout out to again the boys over at Friendly Bee Gaming, created Widgets and Digits. That's a perfect engine building where you start off weak and you upgrade your engine to build more, to get more resources, to be the best company out there. So yeah, engine builder is kind of that. You start off with kind of little, and then as the game progresses, you're improving your area to make it bigger, better, so that way when it comes back to your turn again, and you run through your cycle of your turns, your actions, you have you're upgraded more to be able to get more income, more resources to be able to either spend it or upgrade. And then eventually, usually there's like a scoring mechanic with that. We're saying, if you have the biggest engine or if you're able to accomplish things, objective based, you do that. So when we say engine building, it's not car engines or but it's like you're building. You're starting off with little and you're engineering it to make it bigger and better to maximize your turn to get more stuff. A little bit more complex of games are engine building games, but they're fun. I love those. Those are fun engine building games. Let's move on here. We're almost done with our list here. Hand management, pretty self-explanatory a little bit. It's a game where you have to manage your hand, I guess. Usually those fall in line with like card games. A good hand management game could be like Uno, maybe.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Uno is a big hand management game. You want to get rid of your cards. How to get rid of your cards? You got to play cards. You got to be a little bit smart, play what cards you can. It's a very like you're managing your hand of your cards that you're given. But I think a great explanation would be Uno. Uno is a great game. Salt and Paper, another good hand management game.
Yeah.
It's just a game. Mostly card games. I think I don't know if there's any other non-card game.
I'm trying to think, and maybe like some games might have some kind of mechanisms like that, but I'm trying to think of some that would have, maybe with tiles, if you have tiles that have actions, but I can't really think of a game. You need to be able to have a mechanism where you're trying to like
get rid of or
control your hand. Yeah, exactly. So you have more common things than the others.
It's safe to say that Uno is a great hand management game where you think of like when people say, it's a hand management, there's like a lot of hand management. Think of like example would be Uno. Try and control your hand, get rid of your cards. Majority of the time, it's getting rid of your cards. Other times are like you don't want to have a certain amount of cards or you lose these points. And so you're kind of controlling your hand on your actions. You're doing actions to get rid of cards or gain cards. So there's that. Next one we have here is hidden movement games.
Ooh, those are fun.
I love those games. Those are very Ameritrash games. Those
are
very Ameritrash. Hidden movement games are games. Think of like hide and seek, kind of, but like not reverse, but like instead of like multiple people hiding, you have maybe like one person that's hiding, and there's like multiple seekers trying to find your other player. A fun one that comes to mind is like Fury of Dracula. It's a fun game where one person is Dracula and is hiding, trying to escape the hunters, and you have hunters like Van Helsing and based off the book Bram Stoker's Dracula. So you have Van Helsing, and I forgot the other player. Van Helsing, don't know what comes to mind. I don't know the other characters' names, but it's like their movements are hidden, so no one knows your movements except you, and they're trying to find you, trying to So hide and seek is another great one. I don't know what else is a good hidden movement game.
One of my favorites, Mind Management.
That
game's really good. It's based off of a comic.
Okay.
You play the role of like a psychic that works for a specific corporation for a branch of the government, and one of you goes rogue. The guy who went rogue is a player with like you have a little screen in front of you, and you're moving around and marking places down, and the other players are like trying to catch you and putting down little footprint tracks on the board, kind of trying to retrace your footsteps to see where you've been
really?
to find you and then capture you.
Okay, nice.
It's a really cool game. We need to play it one day.
You have it?
It's really good. It's okay with 2.
Okay.
Those games tend to play better, in my opinion, with more people.
Yeah. It's a game where you can play with more people.
Yeah,
sure,
at least 3 or 4 players.
Yeah, I think a lot of hidden movement games are, from what I've seen, like minimum 3 players.
Yeah.
It's really hard to play with 2 players because it's like, okay, one of us is like hiding. We already know this.
Yeah.
Or it's like we know you're hiding. I just gotta try to find you, and then it's pretty boring. I think 3 or 4 more players, like you have like a whole team now working together to try to find this one person or vice versa.
Very satisfying the way those work.
Exactly. So hidden movement games. Yeah, games where like it's kind of in the name where someone's like hiding their moves, trying to complete an objective while everyone else is trying to find that other player.
Yep.
Again, I don't think I can think of a game that's like a basic game, introduction game that has hidden movement.
I'm trying to think, and I don't know.
I don't think there is, because those games are all very public.
I'm trying to think of like Battleship, but not really, because you're guessing locations and you're like trying to see if you hit it.
I guess it could be considered hidden movement, but you're not moving.
That's the thing, yeah.
But it's like hidden.
Yeah.
Maybe Battleship.
Yeah.
Imagine Battleship, but like your pieces move.
Yeah,
your pieces are moving
exactly.
and then you're trying to like find out where they're at and we're like where they're moving.
Which is like it's really, usually those games are really clever the way they do it to set up the hidden movement mechanisms.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much like kind of like the information you have available is really scarce.
Yeah.
And you're kind of trying to like
Piece it out.
pinpoint and track things back and forth. Yeah. Really
Definitely.
satisfying.
Yeah. Okay. So there's hidden movement here for you. We're almost done here. So we got legacy games. Or think of just think of D&D campaign. A little bit of D&D is where like it's a game that if you really crank it out, you can finish it in one day. But they're games that like board games that like you don't finish in one day. Like you don't finish like the story in one day. For instance, like you can play a session, but then it's like, okay, come back next time and we'll continue on from this game, and your decisions carry over to the next sessions.
Yeah.
So like D&D-esque, kind of where you're playing a campaign, but without like the freedom like D&D has, where like you can do whatever. This is like you did this action in the first session, now you're very limited to this movement on your next session to play. Or you tore up a card. You're tearing up cards and stuff like that because you don't use that game ever. You don't use that card ever again in the whole game. Ever in your life. It's gone from existence.
Yeah.
Those are fun ones. Those are very big Ameritrash games because they're very story driven. Very maybe the mechanics how they're played maybe a little bit Euro-ish, but they're very Ameritrash.
Yeah, they can have it. There's a lot of legacy games that I've seen. Like it's a relatively modernish idea that I've seen going on. The whole concept of like ripping your card up is like flat. I don't do it when I play legacy games. I keep a folder where I stuck it away because I'm like, I can't stand the idea of ripping it.
That's a big tech beef.
But like Pandemic Legacy is a great one. Really cool, really crazy characters like die and you take the card and it says like rip it and then you get rid of it, and it's like there's usually envelopes that are like, hey, once I get to this point, if you do A and B, open up this envelope and you read it. They're very narrative heavy.
Very narrative.
There's like there's a legacy game that came out that is a Euro game, A Ticket to Ride.
A
Ticket to Ride, the legacy one. I hear that one's actually pretty good.
Really?
Yeah, which I got me interested. There's a game called, I think, My City, which you have here, but My Island is a legacy game, which is like a crazy tile placement Euro game with a legacy mechanic, which I find is like pretty nuts.
Same with My City. My City.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's legacy also. So it's like you build,
It's crazy to me. I'm like, how what? So I definitely want to give one of those a shot.
No, definitely, we'll run it for sure. Legacy games that kind of carry over to your next sessions. Think of mini D&D session without the freedoms and stuff like that. Next one, we have meeples. What are meeples? People talk about meeples. Meeples are your little tokens. Your little tokens that represent, maybe represent workers, represent Ships represent
your little wooden dudes.
yeah,
that are
little,
standing there like stars.
Yeah, little wooden suit. Those are what I consider meeples. I know. I wasn't gonna add this to the list, but then like I was talking with a group of friends, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you have your little meeples." They're like, "What's a meeple?" And I was like, "Oh, what's that? No, people don't know what a meeple is." So meeples are like your little like tokens that you have in the game that represent like your armies, maybe, or you represent. That's the terminology we use. Instead of saying like, "Oh, your tokens" or your pieces, we say, "Oh, your meeples." These are your meeples. Usually are like workers and stuff. And I mean, we could give you a long list of games that have meeples, but that you guys probably understand the gist of that meeples.
I love me meeples. Meeples over miniatures for me.
Really? Which is funny you say that because now the next one is minis. The next term about minis. When we say it's a minis game or miniatures game, think of the classic one that everyone knows, Warhammer.
Warhammer
40,000 is a mini game. When we say not like a small game, it's a big game, but they use miniatures. They abbreviated minis.
You have little miniatures,
figures that are very expensive to make. That's why these games cost a lot because they have a lot of minis. So they're like big. I love minis because it's very immersive. You like meeples over minis.
Yeah.
I love minis where it's like you have like a representation of like an enemy and it's like this nice crazy looking miniature that looks pretty crazy that someone created and stuff. So when we say like it's a mini game, think of it incorporates instead of meeples now it incorporates these crazy
miniatures
creations that the designers have created. Awakened Realms does a great job with minis, man. They do a lot of great stuff like Nemesis, Lords of Ragnarok. They do a phenomenal job with miniatures.
Some of the other games from like Blood Rage.
Yes.
Yeah, those games have like a lot of cool Marvel zombies.
Yeah,
the minis in this one.
Yes, big, a lot of miniatures. Black Rose Wars.
Yeah.
Has some crazy miniatures and stuff.
They have a big table presence.
Yeah.
When you see that table and you see the miniatures of all like the zombies or the summonings from Black Rose Wars, especially if somebody like painted them and everything, it really makes it look and you're like, wow, this is a cool experience.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, yeah. So that's what they say, again, miniatures. So, if you try to figure out what that means. Next one, here we go. Min-max. Min or maxing. Min-maxing is a terminology. That one you might have more knowledgeable. I'm not very knowledgeable on this one. So if you want to explain what min-maxing is.
Min-maxing is just like if you... So when you min-max something, it means you're gonna kind of abandon almost everything else and focus just on one thing.
Okay.
So you're maxing out the minimum is the way you think about it.
Okay.
So like if we're playing like a game, and there's one thing on it, and I want to be like, I'm like, you know what? I'm abandoning everything else. If it's like, again, I'm gonna go to like a farming game, right? If you're building a ton of cattle and you're building a lot of like husbandry, animal husbandry, I might say, you know what? I'm going to totally ignore that. I'm going to only go to farming and I'm just going to do nothing but wheat.
Okay.
And I'm going to build up everything I can just for wheat and do my best to optimize that.
Okay.
And that's my only focus. And like it's basically just like a strategy.
Yeah.
Some games tend to lend themselves pretty well at that. Others don't. There's some games where it's like if you get consequences for not doing a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna min-max in something, it might be like, hey, I'm gonna build my whole deck towards this and only this. Like if you're playing Magic the Gathering and you're gonna min-max your deck, you're building a green deck. I'm gonna forget everything else and I'm just gonna focus on summoning big monsters. Okay. That's it. I'm min-maxing. I'm getting nothing but green mana and I'm building nothing but big monsters. Okay.
So it means like you're maxing out on green monsters, but you're minimizing out on other things like artifacts and like okay. Mm-hmm. So I understand kind of where it's like you're choosing to max out on getting only wood because I'm just gonna get wood because I want to get the objective of whoever has the most wood gets 40 points, whatever. And you're gonna minimize on I don't care about building roads or something like that. Like thinking like a 10, or something like that. What's a good basic game that has min maxing on it?
I'm trying to think. I've never played Risk. I've actually never played Risk before.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Can you build multiple units?
Yes, but they're all the same.
Yeah.
Oh, like different types of factions?
Different types of
No, they're all the same. So you have only two types of units. You have usually like the regular basic units, and then like depending on what Risk you're playing, you can have like lieutenant or or like a leader or something like that. Yeah. That's all you have. You have just two units, so there's not very much. And usually the leaders are like cost more or very limited. Yeah. And then the units are the only ones. I don't think you can min-max on that.
No, you don't have like cannons and stuff like that?
You do have cannons. It's been a long time since I played like original Risk. So I'll go with like a Halo Risk. I have Halo Risk.
Okay.
So you have your Marines, and then you do have you have your tanks, your Scorpions, and Scorpions, do extra damage, whatever. But that's all you have.
Yeah.
And then you have like your Spartan, but it's only one Spartan there you can use to like boost up your. But you only have two types of units. You have your Scorpions and your Marines, and that's it.
I was trying to think like maybe if you avoid everything else and you just go heavy Marines and you just say, I'm going to maximize these Marines and I'm going to minimize everything else. I'm going to say screw everything else. But I don't know if that would work for Risk.
It wouldn't, because then you're very you leave yourself vulnerable to like whenever you try to attack, your Marines are very weak. So if someone else has like a mixture of like all like tanks and stuff, like you're gonna get blasted like crazy. You can survive, but then it becomes dice rolling game.
Or maybe like an RPG, like you're gonna maximize your attack on like if we think video game perspective. Like if you're playing Baldur's Gate, and you're building a tank, you say I'm gonna ignore damage dealing, I'm gonna ignore magic, I'm gonna ignore range. Only heavy armor, shields, and defense.
Bring up your strength, constitution, maybe. And
this one character's whole focus is just defense.
Okay,
and that character's min-maxed on that only.
Okay. So for those listening, or watching, min-maxing are the terminology where you kind of focus on one thing, you're maxing on, your max, you're focusing on this, and you're forgetting about the other aspects of the game to focus on your max. You're minimizing on the other aspects of the game to maximize. Okay, so there you have it from a rule. If you ever hear, again, min-maxing, that's what we're talking about. That's what they're talking about here. Before we get to the last three, let's eat these last tacos here.
Okay, let's give it a shot.
So it's funny because we saved the chicken for last, and in our previous Let's Talk About It, I saved the chicken for last as well. So I think it might be a tradition where if we ever eat tacos, we save chicken for last.
Set the chicken to the side. That's the last
So here we go. Los Tacos Desvelados, you've been good. Your tacos callejeros are not very popping. So now we have another set of tacos callejeros, which are the pollo. So we're just going to be basing it off the pollo now, see if it's good.
Let's see it.
Go ahead, dig in. You might want to spruce it up with your cilantro and cebolla again.
Grab this bad boy.
Yeah, go ahead. This is not that bad. It's not that bad. No. Damn, bro, you took all the cebolla.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm like, yo, I want some cebolla. You're like, John, give me all this. No, that's it. No, you take it. All right, go ahead. Eat it. What do you think?
I like it more than the pastor. Mm-hmm. It's got pretty good seasoning.
Yeah.
Not as good as the first two.
For sure.
Their specialty tacos are pretty good. Mm-hmm. But definitely better than the pastor. Mm-hmm. It's a good taco.
I'm actually really digging this pollo.
This is actually pretty good chicken.
Okay. We'll round it off again with these last three terminologies here. Hopefully this has been helpful to you guys that have been listening. Let us know in the comments below if we missed anything, any other aspects. And if there's any beginner board games that still have questions, leave a comment below. We'd love to answer your questions here. And hopefully we were able to expand your knowledge a little bit into the board game world. That way now, if you have friends that are heavy board gamers and throwing out these terminologies, you kind of understand what they're talking about. You don't have to feel a little bit, clueless or feel a little bit dumb when you're asking, what is AP or what is a Meeple? Mm-hmm. Now you know. Revert back to this video so we can guide you there, stuff like that. And there's no, again, if we're wrong, if we messed up on something, we're not pros, like we said in the beginning. We're just trying to help out as much, and from our experiences, I think we have enough experience playing board games that we can able to explain what these terminologies are here. Okay, this one you're gonna have to explain because I don't know how much. I know the aspect of this one, but you probably might do a better one. But it's tableau builder. What is a tableau builder game? When they say, "Hey, you want to play this board game?" It's a tableau builder. What are you gonna explain for them? What a tableau builder is?
If I was to explain tableau building to a person, usually it's a mechanic inside of a game. A lot of bigger Euro games are a combination of multiple mechanics.
Right.
You're going to have a plethora of things. And tableau building is one of those. And essentially what you're either doing some set collecting, which is you're getting multiple pieces that are part of a set. Mm-hmm. And you're putting those out in front of you. This could be connected to like engine building. Right. And you're connecting them to one another. I'm thinking like there's a game like Andromeda's Edge, or you're buying these little attachments that go to the side of your board, and you're building a tableau. And usually they tend to be pretty colorful. They're pretty cool looking. And it's going to be like additional pieces. And as you build it out, the cool thing about Andromeda's Edge is you build this tableau in front of you of these pieces, and when you perform an action and you bring ships back, you can activate this tableau in their little subsequent powers. So that's like a bit of tableau building and engine building.
Yeah.
It's this cool mechanism that they put together. But generally, you're getting pieces that are all either tied to one another or have some sort of ability tied to it. They could be part of a specific set, and then you're laying those cards out in front of you, and you're building a cool little collection of something. You might be collecting red pieces, blue pieces. One that's pretty common, that's also an engine builder and is a really popular game. I'm thinking like Wingspan.
Wingspan, yeah.
Azul.
Azul, yeah.
Azul. You're drafting tiles.
Yes.
In Azul, and then you're putting them in front of you, and then you're building up this tableau to try to fulfill this whole thing in front of you.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think Life? What do you think Life, the game of Life? Do you think that's a tableau builder?
I've never played the game of Life.
So the game of Life, I think...
I know it has the little spinny thingy.
Yeah, you spin it and you move. I think it is a tableau builder and an engine builder a little bit. Because, okay, you start off with, nothing. You start at the beginning. You're born, pretty much. Whatever. And then you choose. Do you go to college or do you, start a career, whatever. You get a career. You choose your career. You get a card. Choose one of the career cards. That nets you amount of money. And then the spots that you land on dictate what happens next. If you land on payday, whatever, you get paid based on whatever your card is. Now, if you get, make a decision to, have kids or something like that, I guess you get more cards or you get, it's been a while since I played Life 2, but you're building up like your little small tableau of cards that boost you up whenever you land on certain items.
Okay.
Or they could hurt you too because it's like, taxes. Tax it. You got to pay taxes based on whatever your card. And at the end of the game, whoever has the most money and success, wins.
But you're building up these cards in front of you.
Building up these cards in front of you, and then whenever you land on certain spots, that's when the cards activate or something like that. So
it's a bit of tableau building and
a
engine
bit
building.
So that could be a modern-esque. Again, I don't even have Life, and Life was one of my favorite games playing as growing up as a kid.
Yeah.
I don't even have it. I gotta buy it. But it's a very fun game. Yeah. So you can think that as almost tableau. I think it's almost engine building, not area control, not worker placement. Yeah, it's more like tableau building-ish worker placement. So that's what we say when we say tableau. You're again. I think you're right. It goes hand in hand with engine building.
Usually,
because you're expanding your engine more. You're upgrading your engine. So that's like tableau building, as well. Okay. Moving, trick taking game. Explain that one. Explain that one for us. What is the trick taking game?
It's an old concept that's been around for a very long time. Usually, somebody plays a suit of something, right? Like think about your standard 52 deck of bicycle cards. You have hearts, clubs, spades, and diamonds. Somebody plays a diamond card, and the next person plays the trick. They play a diamond card, but the trick might be to play the diamond card of a higher number. So I play a diamond of 5. And then it goes to you, and then you play a diamond of 6.
Right.
And then somebody else plays a diamond of 7. Modern games have like different mechanisms to it, where it's like, if it's like crabs in a bucket, I play a specific card, and I have to subsequently, the guy next to me has to play the same suit, a higher number. He has to play that card. But this card might have a different power that says, hey, you played this card, you get to pick the new suit. You can immediately play another card of a different suit. Yeah. As long as it's a higher number or something.
Right.
And trick taking is just like a mechanism that's been around for a very long time. Yeah. Arcs is like a cool mix of like area control. It's a war game with trick taking where I'm going to play this card of this suit, and it allows me to move my fleet of ships over. Then you have to play the trick. You have to play the same suit or of a higher number, and then take the action. If you don't, you can copy the suit, and like that. There's ways to bend the rules.
Right.
But generally, somebody plays a card of a specific suit, and then you play cards of the same suit in ascending order, higher numbers.
Okay. So perfect example, Uno.
Yeah, Uno.
Perfect example for you guys listening. Uno is a perfect trick taking / hand management game. You got to trick the other player to make them. You either force them to draw cards, or you're playing a card. Play a green card. A 2 green card. The other player has to either find it or draw a card. Tricking them. Scout is another fun. I don't know if Scout's.
I've never played Scout.
I don't think Scout's a trick taking game, to be honest. It could be, yes. Because Scout is like you play a series of cards, and they have to either play a higher number suit of cards or combination of cards.
Yeah.
So that would be trick taking.
Generally, yeah. If you play a suit and they have to match the suit by a higher number, or there's a way for them to flex around it.
Yeah.
Generally, that's
so Scout is another fun. We gotta play Scout. You'll love Scout. Scout's fun. Scott loves playing Scout. So that's a good one. So trick taking. So that's what we mean when they say trick taking. Think of Uno. Perfect example, Uno, or any other cards that you're forcing other players to get rid of cards or to draw cards, depending on what the objective is of the game here. All right, last one here, and then we'll round off the podcast and end it here and give our review of our tacos so that we ate here. Worker placement games. Worker placement games. I love worker placement games. I think they're one of my favorites. I think a good worker placement game that I love playing is Dino Island.
Dino Island's a good one.
I love Dino Island. And when we say worker placement is, let's say you start off your game with certain meeples, again, using terminology, meeples. You have your workers, meeples. And on your turn, you're sending out these workers to place them somewhere on the map or to do something or spending them so they can do an action for you so you can get the bonuses or things to help you out with your engine or with your whatever the objective is of the game to help you out. Everdell is another great worker placement game where you're sending out these pieces to help you out on if you send them out here to do this, they'll give you 2 sheep or something like that. For example, throwing out cattle, stuff like that. You send them out here. Now they can steal from someone else. So there's different actions that varies within the board game. But when we say worker placement, you have your little pieces and you're sending them out to do actions for you to help you out, boost your chances of winning the game. I think that's a good worker placement. I don't know if you want to add on to that.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like worker placement's a really common action selection mechanism.
Yeah,
that is used in a lot of games where you have a specific set of dudes, you put them out onto the board or in front of you, and then wherever you go, you do that thing.
Yeah.
Whether it be like you said, collect cattle, block people from doing things. A more complicated one we played was like Galactic Cruise.
Yeah.
Where you start off with 2 simple workers and you put them out and you perform 2 actions. It's a cool way to add. It's a really common use thing. There's a lot of worker placement games out there. At least in the more modernish Euro game style way of things. That's definitely a mechanism used more in Euro games.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's one of my favorite mechanisms. It's really straightforward to teach people. And once you grasp it, it can expand into so many cool things.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a fun one. It's a fun one to play. I can't think of any good entry level games that have worker placement. I think
Everdell would be a pretty straightforward one.
Everdell's a good one, but not everyone's heard of Everdell as well. Like Monopoly, no. Clue, no. Guess Who, no. Definitely.
I can't think of any.
Sorry, Trouble.
Simple modern
Mousetrap. Maybe.
I've never played Mousetrap either.
Mousetrap is fun, but it's been so long that I can't even tell you the premise of the game. I just remember the cage falling down at the end. It's a fun one. If anyone in the comments knows, let us know what Mousetrap is, what type of Mousetrap this game is. But hopefully maybe we're able to explain enough to know what worker placement means. Lost Ruins Varnak has some workers.
That has some
worker placement.
That's a cool game. That has worker placement, deck building.
Yeah, it has a little bit of everything on that one. So if you want to feel like Indiana Jones, play that game. That one's a fun game to play. But yeah, that's a little bit of some worker placement here. But with that being said, that was our list. Hopefully we didn't go terribly too long on that one. We were eating some tacos and enjoying some conversations, but hopefully we made this episode more educational for those of you that are listening that are wondering what some of this stuff is. What these terminologies are, we thrown around, or if you've been listening to our podcast for a while, first of all, thank you if you have. We've probably thrown out some of these terminologies here and there in some episodes. You're probably like, wait, what does that mean? Well, hopefully this episode will allow you to help you out, what understand what we're talking about when we say AP or action selection or engine building. You might have a little bit more of an understanding. And there's a bunch of other content creators out there, other board gamers that do a much better job of explaining it more in depth. So before we end the podcast, we got to give our review on Los Desvelados Tacos, Los Desvelados Tacos. Raul, what do you think? What's your final verdict on these tacos?
So my first impression is they were good.
Okay.
But not my favorite taco spot.
Not your favorite taco? Okay.
They were good. They were good, but I don't know. Maybe I'm a little partial, but I like guisados. Okay. In down on Burbank Boulevard.
Man, you're bougie. You're like bougie tacos. Get out of here, bro.
That's like a good taco that like people dig. If I like Tex-Mex-ish kind of Mexican tacos, like I'm a Mexican, like I love good street tacos, you know, so on and so forth. But if I'm going for like a Tex-Mex taco, the Sharky's has a like honest to God, dude.
This guy said Sharky's, bro.
Their cheese crusted steak taco is fire. It is so good.
I need to take you out, bro. I need to take you out, my boy. Sharky's. You said Sharky. You did not say Sharky's on my pod, bro.
But we gotta. In my opinion, like I don't know, man. Like it wasn't bad because like the second taco that we had, the
tacos
Tijuaneros. Yeah. I love me a good carne asada taco, and like if you got good solid carne asada, good solid salsa verde for me, cilantro, lime. The tortillas are like handmade, ideally. If not, that's fine as long as they're like, well cooked and everything, and they're not too spongy and hard to chew through. They're pretty solid, right? And as long as the seasoning's good.
For sure.
Same thing with the pollo. Like the pollo and the chicken taco that we had was actually really good.
It was good, yeah.
So, and the second was actually pretty good too. The Tijuanero.
Yeah.
So, all in all, pretty good.
Yeah.
I would pick this over Sharky's.
Oh my goodness.
But Guisados is good in my opinion.
Guisados, bro.
It's a little bougie and a little common, but I think their seasoning's on point. The salsa's good. Those tortillas are handmade.
We got some work to do.
They flatten them up. You know what? Next time,
crew, we got some work to do. Let's
have a talk about it session.
Yeah.
And let's I'll bring some not Sharkies, Guisados.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'll bring some of my favorites that I think are on point.
Okay.
And then we'll see. We'll have a comparison.
Let's do it. I'll bring there's another taco spot I want to talk to you. We'll talk offline about that one. That I want to bring you over. That was have there. But there you have it there. So Raul's impressions on Los Desvelados tacos. For me, I love them. They're great tacos. Not my go-to taco spot for you for sure, but they're delicious tacos. If you want to get crazy with the concoctions of types of tacos they can make, they make some good tacos. So if you're ever looking for a taco spot and you happen to be in the Glendale area or in Southern California and you're looking for a taco spot, check out Tacos Los Desvelados. They're not paying me to do any of this. I just love talking about tacos, and they have good tacos, and they're really close by. But we can literally walk there if you wanted to.
No, it's dope.
So they're really good. Hopefully, this episode was educational for you guys. Hopefully, you enjoyed our taco review. Raul's reactions to it, they were great. If you had tacos, Los Tacos Desvelados, let us know in the comments below if you really enjoyed. You can find us on all socials and viewing platforms. We're on X, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. You can find us there if you were listening or watching. If you want to watch, you can find us on YouTube as well, as I already mentioned. Don't forget to like and subscribe, like the content creators like to say, like and subscribe. Or if you're watching us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, like hit that thumbs up, or I think that star rating. Give us a 5-star ratings. Let us know. We if you give us more ratings, we get to be more on the algorithms of other fellow podcasters that might want to listen to a podcast. And so give us that ratings. Let us know how we're doing. What can we improve? I'm always open to suggestions. And if you guys have a topic you guys want to talk about, let us know. And if you want to email us, you can find us also on gamesymustpod@gmail.com. That is gamesymustpod@gmail.com. Raul, thank you so much for joining us here for our Let's Taco About It.
Thanks for having me,
It was fun. It was good talking these board game terminologies. Now we're getting ready to play some more board games. So we're going to play some fun board games here. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Y nos vemos para la próxima.